Alright, so I decided to make a pretty in-depth tutorial of the Trine 3 speedrun. This video is going to be the first part, where I go over the game setup and the tricks used in the speedrun. So the first thing that you want to set up in the game is the patch. There's only one good patch for the game, and that is version 1.01. And to get that patch, if you have the game on Steam, you just find the game in your Steam library, right-click on it, go to Properties, Betas, and then opt into version 1.01 on this patch list. After you do that, the game will start downloading the correct patch up here. If you don't have the game on Steam, you can check which patch you're on in the in-game main menu on the bottom right of the screen. It'll look something like this. Now, if you don't have version 1.01 displayed right here, and you don't have the Steam version, then I don't know what to tell you, because the developers for Trine 3 included all of the patches in the Steam release, but I'm not sure about the other distribution services. So from this point on, I'm going to be going under the assumption that you have version 1.01, and we can get into the keybind setups. And to do that, I'm going to hop into one of the test maps and go over the rest of the tricks and setups for this video. Okay, so there are a couple of keybinds that I would definitely recommend changing before you go to speedrun this game. The first one is crouch. By default it's bound to left control here, and the problem that arises from that is whenever you go to slam down as Pontius, there's a chance that while mashing left control you will also do a crouch and then crawl off of the edge and then let go of the edge, because that's what crouch does. So to fix this, I would recommend changing the crouch input, since it's less used than the Pontius slam. I use Alt, and then that'll shore up the problem that occurs whenever you're slamming next to ledges like this. The second thing to change would be Companion Levitation, which is an Amadeus ability. By default it's on right mouse button, and what this does is whenever you right-click an object in midair, it gets warped over your head like this, which can be really annoying in the speedrun. I just disable this because I don't find a use for it ever. And to do that, you would just go to Amadeus here and hit the little minus sign next to Companion Levitation, and that just disables that keybind. Those are the only major keybind changes that I would recommend. Everything else is just personal preference. So next we can go over the tricks used in the speedrun. I'll start off with Amadeus. The first major trick used is box sliding, which is just moving a box in the direction that Amadeus is walking, like this. You can see that his normal run speed's pretty slow, but he can actually get the highest base movement speed of any character by just sliding around with a box. Apart from that, he also has box jumping, which if you have version 1.01, which you should, you're able to grab objects in the air, and this lets him pull things up to him while he's jumping, and he can just fly around. Normally this is done with the box that he summons. Something very similar to this is something called box flying, which is pretty complicated, so it's not used in the any % run, but is used in ILs and New Game Plus. Whenever you grab onto an object, you're able to grab onto the object that is underneath it. So normally whenever you're standing on something, the game doesn't let you grab onto the object you're standing on and all of the things that are underneath the object that you're standing on. But whenever you're hanging off of a ledge, you can grab things underneath the thing you're hanging off of. This can let you fly around a lot. But you have to be careful, because if you move too quickly with the bottom object, the top object falls off. So those are all of the Amadeus only glitches, or tricks. For Zoya, she only has one thing specific to her, which is ledge clipping. This occurs whenever you hang on to a ledge like this, and then hold the direction away from the ledge you're hanging off of, which in this case would be A, or to the left, and then you left click. And after you left click, she will be in a weird state where if you move along the edge, she will be inverse where she should be hanging off of, And now if I press down, she'll climb up, and whenever I tap up, she'll move down. This is used to clip through a couple walls in the actual speedrun, but it takes a little while to set up, so it's not used too often. That's all for Zoya. For Pontius, he has cool things going for him. For one, he is able to maintain his charge after jumping off of a ledge. So normally, whenever you're charging as Pontius, you only get to charge on the ground. Whenever you jump into the air, your charge speed gets cut, and he just runs at normal speed after a jump. But if you jump with a charge right as you leave the edge of an object, you can maintain that charge speed in the air for a little bit. This is used throughout the speedrun to get a little bit of extra distance on a charge, but it does require pretty tight timing. Apart from this trick, Pontius also has wall climbing, which is another version 1.01 exclusive. To do this, it's pretty simple. You just hold up your shield with right mouse button, and then jump onto walls. Normally, Pontius would wall jump away from a wall like this, but if you hold your shield up with right mouse button, then he climbs up a wall like this. It's pretty important not to mash spacebar too quickly, because if you do, he'll jump away from the wall. You have to space out your jumps pretty far. But that allows Pontius to climb up any flat wall. The next trick to go over is optimal attacks, which is something that Pontius can do. You can see this is the normal attack speed that Pontius does by just mashing left mouse button. But this attack animation can get interrupted by charging with Pontius. And to do a charge, you just hold down left mouse button and then tap right mouse button. So to do an optimal attack, you would just attack with left mouse button, tap the right mouse button, and then do another left mouse button. And doing that really rapidly, you can get very quick attacks. That's used in a lot of levels where Pontius has to fight a bunch of enemies. And that's all of the character-specific tricks used in the speedrun. The last one involves using all three characters, and it's the most common trick in the game. It's called balloon riding. And to do this, you just summon a box with Amadeus, throw it into the air, jump, switch to Zoya, and then hookshot it, and then the box will pull you up in the air like this. Very useful for getting large distances really quickly, because the box can travel really fast. You can get a little bit of extra distance by scrolling up on the mouse wheel with Zoya. This will pull her towards the box that she hooks onto. And you can get even more distance than that by switching to Pontius at the peak of the box's height, because Pontius can glide. And you can get a lot of distance with this trick by using all three of the characters. And that's all of the tricks used without any specific levels in the speedrun. My plan next is to go over each of the individual levels and explain the tutorial for the 80% speedrun. Thanks for watching.